Hello, everybody. Back in the shop here at Sabre Designs. Had winter storm come through a couple weeks ago, and Shop Sabre, of course, on that day, the next day, well, they were supposed to come. Ben from the tech department was supposed to come down and rewire this CNC for us, and put it out of my head. There's no way they're coming. We had a snowstorm. Interstates were closed down. Well, next morning, of course, wake up, got to push snow for cattle, get the cattle fed, and I had to go push the neighbor out, so I had the telehandler out. I have an agricultural telehandler with a big snow bucket on it, and I was going down our level B road, which is impassable. You can't get through it. I had to actually drive through the ditch, out in the field, and go around the top of the hill where the snow blows in so deep that I would never even think about going through it. But I go around the snow, get to the top of the hill, and start heading a mile away to go push our neighbor out. Well, there's this like an Escalade coming down the road on the opposite way, and I'm thinking, who in the hell is this guy, and why is he out here? He can't even drive down the roads right now. Pulls up and he goes, "Are you Lawton?" I'm like, "Yeah, but you can't go that way, it's got snow on it." He goes, "Well, I'm Ben from Shop Sabre." I'm like, I didn't think you guys would be coming down. We just had a snowstorm. Interstate, I heard, was closed. "Well, this ain't my first rodeo," he says. I said, "Okay, well, you're going to have to backtrack, go around 3 miles around to get to our shop, and I'll be back in a couple minutes. I'll help you out." Well, of course, I left my phone in the shop that morning, and I get back. My wife's standing outside saying, "Hey, Ben's stuck on the other side of the back behind the shed over there on the gravel road." So I kind of figured that was what's going to happen since the maintainer hasn't been by yet. Sure as shit, I pull around the back of the shed, and there he is, stuck and pretty much went in the ditch. So got him yanked out, and he come in here. He was wiring all day and putting some new cables on the CNC here. And then, I don't know, I suppose late afternoon, he got it all wired up. I kind of helped him whatever I could. Got it all wired up, and we started up, and he notices right away that on my screen, on the computer screen for the controller screen, that he could see lines. The interference was causing lines of screen. And he goes, "That shouldn't be doing that." And I'm like, I have no clue. I just figured that's the way it was. I just was going with it because that's just, I don't know any difference. And he's like, "Yeah, we shouldn't be getting that. That means you're getting interference." I'm like, well, it makes sense because that's what I've been dealing with the whole time. So then he's over on the VFD messing with settings, calling Ben at the other Ben that's actually at the Shop Sabre location, and asking him if there's controller settings and this and that. And I'm kind of watching, but I don't know anything about stuff like that. So he was tweaking it, and I was on the screen starting the spindle, because when you start the spindle, then you really see the lines going across the screen. Then you know that the interference is getting caused because of the three-phase running the spindle. So at some point, he says, "There's a EMF filter setting in that VFD." And I'm kind of like, I have no clue. And supposedly it wasn't on this whole time, which means that would be the problem of why the CNC was jogging and losing the signal as we were cutting our programs. It wouldn't really show up on the smaller programs, but on longer programs, that buildup would really start to show up. For like a 3 or 4 hour program, even the 6 hour program I was running, it would be a 1/4 inch off. Still has me wondering if the cable could have been something to do with it, but either way, he put new cables on, put that controller setting so that was working on the EMI filter, and the lines on the computer screen pretty much disappeared. So that right there showed that we were losing our interference immediately. So after he did all that, and he probably didn't have to rewire it if we would have known that was a problem from the beginning, but I talked to Ben in tech service today. He called me to make sure everything was running fine, and I said, "Yeah, the fan cable come loose in the plug. I had to figure that out because I realized that the other day when I was cutting a program that the fan wasn't running on the spindle. No big deal. I got that figured out." But going back to, because there's 2 Bens up there at Shop Sabre. There's the Ben is like the manager of the tech, is what I'm kind of understanding, and then there's the Ben that's in the tech. And Ben that come down to services is very passionate about what he's doing. He knew that we had a problem, and he saw our video and said, "Yeah, we're going to get this fixed for you." And I was like, "Well, I greatly appreciate it, because I wanted to push Shop Sabre, and my goal was to put good videos out there, but unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of positive videos. I've only had the videos that show the problem I have and how I dealt with it." And it isn't their fault, because that VFD, they said after, and the Ben I talked to today said they checked all 25 of the ones they had on stock and made sure they were in that setting. That VFD was in that IMF setting from day one, and like the videos I put out, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. Well, that wasn't in the right setting for getting the interference knocked down to make sure that the CNC wasn't going to start jogging or get off the paces. But they had checked all of them, and he said all of them were fine on the ones they just checked. And that was what he told me today. So naturally, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. But Ben calmed down. He spent all day rewiring it. I talked to him, kind of hung out with him all day. And he's great, knew exactly about everything, what was going on here. And I can't tip my hat off enough to him. Come down in a snowstorm, and most people wouldn't do that. You could tell right away that I don't remember if he told me he's a farm boy, but he's been around the farm industry of the machines and stuff like that, so he knows exactly the places to go and what kind of conditions we have down here. And we're in northwest Iowa, so we pretty much get everything. It could be raining one day and snow a foot the next day. It's just unpredictable weather we got, and never would have thought that he showed up right after a snowstorm. But that was very impressive. He come down and fixed the machine, and it's hard for me I didn't ever blame Shop Sabre. I just knew there was a problem that was probably one of those, which is kind of the day in life and farming that we have. Usually it's something simple, and it's so hard to find, and what you do, you're just sitting there like, I cannot believe that that's what it was that was causing us the problems. So we got it figured out, and cross my fingers. I ran a 2-hour program the other day, no problems. So cross my fingers that I'm not going to have any problems anytime soon. And I was really glad Shop Sabre helped us out and took care of us. But that was the journey that we got to figure out that on the VFD, the IMF filter was not on this whole time. So that's why we were having the interference problems that we were having. So most people like that probably don't have a VFD if they have 3-phase, but we're never going to have 3-phase out here in the middle of rural Iowa. So you have to have the VFD, and me not knowing anything about that, it's kind of out of my realm to know that there was even an option in the VFD. The VFD has a built-in IMF filter to knock those tops of them frequencies down to make sure that it doesn't have that jogging problem. But I sure appreciate Shop Sabre taking care of us, and I'm going to put out some good videos, or some videos of making some stuff that won't have to worry about, and sooner or later we'll see how that goes. So thanks for watching.